No, you're certainly not mistaken. This is actually a scene out of a movie. And the lady behind the wheel is former getaway driver turned stunt driver company owner, Georgia Durant.
I remember to get away from the cops, I had to drive over sidewalks, and it was unbelievable. I would be clicking mirrors. I was turning around a corner, clicking mirrors to another car, but I got away. And it was probably the worst thing I could have done, because then they wanted to use me all the time, and you don't say no to these guys easily. And it just kind of went from there, and I just knew I was getting in too deep, and I had to get out.
When Georgia opted to turn her life around, it wasn't easy, but it paid off in the end.
This one director just got so sick of seeing me, because every time there was a shoot, I was there. And he finally, gave me a shot. He says, okay. He said, I'm going to give you a shot. He said, show up on Tuesday, we'll see what you can do. So I showed up on Tuesday, and I showed him what I could do. I came out and I formed my company, Performance 2, and I got 16 stunt drivers, trained them in precision, and now we do all the car commercials that you see on the air.
In Nigeria, we have very similar success stories of past criminals who turned their lives around, like Bishop Kayode Williams, who went from armed robber to 10-year prisoner to bishop.
When I came out, the first challenge I had was challenge of shelter. Nobody wants to accommodate me. So I took it upon myself to set up a rehabilitation center. That was my first step. I stayed in prison for almost 10 years. So I know majority, 75 to 85% of those that goes back to jail are people that have been there before, because nobody wants to give them shelter, and shelter is important to human life.
Now, for released prisoners who want to be like Bishop Kayode Williams and Georgia Durant but cannot afford it, that's where organizations like CISOSA come in. They provide former offenders with the resources they need in order to take one step forward and not 2 steps back.
So we individualize our approach to working with the men and women that we supervise. We're very pleased that as of this year, we're starting to see probably about 69% of our men and women under supervision have successfully completed supervision, and that's phenomenal. And then maybe about 17% have been revoked to prison, which is really great. So we're very, very pleased with our success rate.
Re-entry institutions help to make the process a lot easier. Unfortunately, there is still no prison rehabilitation center in Nigeria till date.
There's no rehabilitation center in Nigeria, particularly for ex-convicts. Nigerian prison ought to be a reformative center, a rehabilitation center, a center for reintegration and resettlement of ex-convicts. But there is nothing like that.
The crime rates in Nigeria and the United States are said to be on the increase daily. But there's comfort in knowing that there are re-entry organizations that are doing what they can to make a difference, and the proof is in the testimonies.
I returned to the city of D.C. in 2013 after serving 21 years. And I work around a staff of individuals that truly care, and they radiate something. They radiate something that is so powerful that can combat all the forces that are working against individuals like myself.
From Washington, D.C., Cynthia Are, Channels Television News.